Maria, kia ora all. Welcome to the Smart Growth Committee meeting of the 14th of April. And I declare the meeting open at 10 a.m. Note that there is a Smart Growth workshop immediately following this meeting. Welcome all to media staff. Keep saying welcome. I said welcome like 3 times. This meeting is being recorded and will be published on YouTube and the QLDC website after the meeting. First order on the agenda is apologies. I have an apology from Councillor Copeland. I'm happy to move. Thank you, Councillor White. Second, all those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Declarations of conflicts of interest. Are there any declarations? You do. Public forum, there's no speakers registered for the public forum, no matters lying on the table. Confirmation of the agenda. Are people happy with the agenda? Can I get a mover and a seconder to confirm that the agenda be confirmed without alteration? Thank you, Councillor White, and thank you, Councillor Smith. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Confirmation of public minutes of the ordinary meeting of the Smart Growth Committee held on 3rd of March 2026. Do we have any comments around the meetings that are on the agenda back? Cool, I'm happy to move. If I can have a seconder for those minutes. Thank you, Councillor White. All those in favour say aye. Motion carried. All right, so report item 1. I'll invite Alison to table. Go to Ellie and speak report.
Good morning.
Oh.
It was trying to snow in the Commonwealth.
Yes.
Very exciting for April.
New normal, isn't it?
Yeah, the fun of living in a mountain sport. Yeah. Okay, the first agenda item is my public included update report, just in terms of some of the work streams that the planning policy team has been undertaken and changes since the last meeting of the Smart Growth Committee. What I'll do is just take it page by page as I usually do, and I'm happy to answer any questions as and when they come up. Thank you. I will start on page 19, which is the first update from the last meeting, and that is to note that the Argus Point re-notification Environment Court hearing resumed on the 17th and 18th of March. That process is now finished. The court is just waiting on closing submissions from all of the council, and we will hope to have a full decision for the later in the year.
I'll just ask a quick question. On there it says commencing 25th November 2026, but I think it should say 2025. That's
and that's saying
just above the bold, and the Environment Court was held in Queenstown commencing 25 November 2026, but possibly should say 2025.
Yeah, and then we did some 2026. Yeah, you're correct. Thank you. Landscape schedules priority areas, page 20. We've had a lot of consent orders issued by the court, which is really exciting. The first one, which we've got a little bit of a summary for, which comes under the name burden, but it relates to all of the appeals relating to landscape schedules, and that talked about how the schedules works, what is written in all of the preambles to the priority landscape schedules. So that was generally in accordance with where the council had been going through its evidence and the work that the council had done in respect of that. The other ones that are listed there were all resolved via consent memorandum, so through a mediation process, which is great. The next page just shows the other the other appeals that we're still working through processes on. The Hawthornden one, we're just working on consent documentation for that one. We were going to have mediation last week, but we were able to resolve the appeal without mediation, which is really push. Gertrude Savory, and
Are you able to
not on this one.
explain that later?
Yeah. Thank you. And yeah, Gertrude Savory and others for outstanding Natural Landscape Society ones, those are on hold in the Gertrude Savory stage 1 appeal. Urban intensification variation, the appeal period for that has closed. We received 19 environment court appeals for that one, so often around the number I think that we were expecting. Most of them are site-specific ones, so the next stage is for anybody wanting to be a 274 party to those appeals to register their interest, and then we will prepare some memorandums for the court, working out the best way in which to resolve those. We will be coming back to this committee in a public excluded forum within the next couple of months to seek delegations to be able to mediate those things.
Is there a balance of whether they're seeking more or less? Less.
Yes. Yeah.
They're both.
Yeah.
Both ways.
Yeah.
And there was quite a bit of media coverage of it, particularly the downtown Queenstown stuff. Is there a segment that several on that, or is
No. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. So yeah, as I said, we'll come back to you later. Those. We are in the process of rescheduling the landscape schedules up with the hearing. So that was the one that we received an exemption under plain stop from the minister. So we'll be sending out a revised evidence timetable for that period.
Like September.
I think that's around September. So we've got some commissioner availability and to ensure that we've got the time frames for evidence. The timing is great in the sense that we've received the Environment Court decision on the priority landscape areas, which talks about the role of schedules and how the preambles work. So that will feed into the work that we've done on Upper, which is timing as well. As you're aware, we've undertaken a full council agenda item seeking authority to go to the minister for a number of the special zones, and the team is just working through the application for the minister for that at the moment. Those special zones that we're asking for exemptions essentially are ones that we can't see coming at us through a public plan change process, and we also are aware that from those areas such as the Plan Change 50 area and Franklin Flats, there is a lot of interest in getting some really good outcomes there and not waiting for reforms in terms of time. The Hills private plan change, that hearing commences today over in Queenstown, and Aaron South, which is the other private plan change we've got on books. We've just sent out a request for further information. So all information regarding private plan changes are contained within our website, the QLDC website, policy planning, and under the proposed district plan. So all of that information is available for anybody interested. Once we receive that further information with regards to Area South, we will be bringing back an agenda item to this committee seeking the committee's delegation in terms of accepting, rejecting, adopting that private plan change. So there will be a decision making process for you all to this. In terms of other projects making the proposed district plan operative, as you'll see through my appeals update report and some of the reporting that I've done recently, we've actually had quite a chunk of appeals resolved by the Environment Court recently. So the ones outstanding are ones that will be subject to formal Environment Court hearings. So I think we're at a really good time just to make that process a little bit easier in terms of understanding and make significant so stay tuned for that. There's a process that we have to undertake in terms of notification of that. Gorge Road hazards, we will be undertaking a workshop with councillors and bringing an agenda item to the council within the next couple of months for that policy. It's a bit more progress given that we now have a new national policy statement with regards to natural hazards. So that work has progressed recently. But just looking through the other ones, I'm happy to answer any questions that are appropriate within this public forum part of the agenda in relation to those outstanding appeals in the tables on pages 29, 30, 31, 32, and so on. Otherwise, I am happy to answer any other questions you may have.
From councillors, I also want to make a point that Councillor Balfour Glover is joining us at the table today, just as they're welcome to in any committee. But you're also welcome to ask questions if need be. Any questions from the committee members? Yeah,
Through the chair.
very welcome.
Through the chat with the change 50 for Franklin Flats.
Change 50 is the area above Queenstown Centre.
Oh, sorry, Franklin Flats.
Yeah, but all of that.
The Franklin Flats.
Yeah.
Sort of one that was requested for the planned stop
Yes.
to be exempted. What are the outcomes that we're hoping to get from sort of changing that land? Because obviously living there midweek, it seems to be pretty full, pretty developed. So what are the planning outcomes that we're hoping to achieve?
We are working with the strategic growth team in terms of giving effect to outcomes of the structure plan process, which is happening in parallel as well. All of those zones out there, Franklin Flats A and B in the Remarkables Park zone, have been within the operative plan for some time. If we hadn't had the plan stop legislation last year, we would have been actively reviewing those because we would have needed to in terms of the 10-year time frame that we'll need to. In terms of those areas, there are still parts of those zones and more significantly in the Remarkables Park zone, which are still undeveloped. And we've had significant correspondence from landowners and developers in all of those areas saying, when are you going to review them? Because there is still potential development we'd like to do. In terms of Franklin Flats A and B, they are more readily developed, but the process that we'd be undertaking is to give effect to policy 5 of the DCD, which we need to in terms of is there appropriate upzoning that should happen because of their location in relation to community activities, public transport and the like, as well as trying to resolve any issues within those provisions to make them a little bit simpler. Franklin Flats B, which is the largest part of that area, the residential, some of the industrial, Hawthorne Drive area, that's an extensive special zone with a lot of objectives and policies and outcomes. So trying to simplify that for landowners is something that we're trying to do. And once we've done that work, we've either been through that proposed plan process, such as we're working on the bill, or have that body of work ready for the reforms package and watch the appropriate zone would be that we would let you know once we get to that. So yeah, there's still a little bit of work there.
Yeah, no, I understand the things on Hawthorne Drive, but I just got to understand why we were doing plan change work on what was Countdown, that shopping centre and the event centre, and I've struggled unless there's specific things that we need to address.
We've had, in terms of that Countdown area and the area behind that, there is still an area of land that has yet to be developed, and those developers have been talking to the policy team through that initial engagement that we undertook last year to say, hey, some changes might make it easier or a more streamlined process for development. Could you consider them? So we are having those conversations when those developers come to us.
I think we're talking about the structure plans in the workshop afterwards, which might add some context.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah.
Councillor Mitchell.
Well, thank you. So does that include in that area now, Borders is not behind this, that's the community hub space too, where there's discussions going on, so.
That is a separate process because that is under the designation of the First Home Event Centre, so it wouldn't be something that we'd be ordinarily looking at through this proposed plan process. I think that's AB and
Right. Thank you.
Cool. If there's no other questions, I'm happy to bring it to the resolution required, which is that the Smart Growth Committee, 1, note the contents of this report. 2, note the updates on timing and progress on projects undertaken by the planning policy team. Do I have a mover? Thank you, John. And a seconder, thank you, Councillor Smith. Any deliberation, discussion? Put it to the vote. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Motion carried. Great. So we need to move into public excluded. And there's a resolution. So I'm happy to move that the public be excluded from the meeting for the following items. Update 2, item 2, sorry, which is updated proposed district plans appeals. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Mitchell. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Cool. So note that the